dirty, doesn't it, to you guys? Look at that. My fingernails are dirty from pulling on it. Can you see that? Doesn't that look like it could be a root? Interesting. Oh, whoa, guys, look. Look at that. Can you see that? Can you see that? That's a root. Awesome. So I'm getting it pretty close. Now some of this right here is still really the pineapple meat. And I'm not seeing really any additional roots up in there. So, but I am seeing a root here. That's a root. And then here's a root. Here's a root. Literally looks like roots are coiled around this thing. So I'm going to stick this down in a jar, and the jar will be easier to sit, I think, on the windowsill as well. He says not to use tap water. I don't know how full exactly this needs to be, but you don't want it way up on the neck. Just needs to be, he said, where the roots are basically, show you here. The sunlight maybe comes through. Might be easier to see. See how it's just barely down in there, about 3/4 of an inch maybe. But that's kind of where the roots are coming out. So, but I certainly don't want it to dry up. But I think for now, I may add just a smidgen more up that neck. Just a smidgen more, and then put it over in that windowsill there, where it can get morning sun. And keep an eye on the water level. Try to keep that plant upright so it doesn't bend towards the sun too much. A little bit probably is not a big deal. It's hitting my screen. I gotta be careful. But there we go. Yeah. All right. Now, today is August 1st, so we'll look at it each day. We'll see how much roots that it produces each day, and then when it gets enough roots to sustain itself, I'll put it down either in the earth in the greenhouse, or we'll pot it up in a pot. But this foliage is super healthy, and with that much greenery, I expect that it will grow rapidly. It was a very healthy plant, and it was a very delicious pineapple. Today is August the 16th. I just wanted to show you the progress of the roots. Can you see those? So it's really coming along. And I've just kept it down here on the windowsill. And as soon as it gets a little more development of the roots, I'm going to pot it up. Today is August the 30th, and just wanted to show you how we're progressing with the roots of the pineapple. I want you to look at that. Look at all of those roots. When the pineapple gets about 30 leaves on it, and many of which I've cut down here, because when I put the plastic bag over it with the rotten apples, it really makes it hard because some of those limbs come out to here. So I cut some of those off, but approximately about 30 of these leaves, then that's about when you want to put the rotten apples. Of course, I could buy apples and let them rot, or I can just go to my apple tree and get some that are on the ground already rotting, which is what obviously the preferred method. And that happens in August. So it just so happens that this particular plant has got the 30 leaves on it approximately, and I have apples that are on the ground at this point starting to rot. So I'm going to go ahead and gather those up and put them basically down in this area here in an inverted 2-liter bottle. And then we're going to cover it with a big giant plastic clear trash bag and get it out of the sun so it doesn't cook it for 7 days. But I'm going to gather some rotten apples. Some of them are rotting on the actual tree. And I'm going to put them in my 2-liter bottle. The cap is off and I've cut the bottom out of it. So I'm going to put them in this side, and they can't fall out the bottom. And that's what I'm going to sit down in my pineapple plant. Pretty mushy. There's a whole bunch of them on the ground here. I almost wonder if some of these aren't too ripe or too rotten. You want them to be in the process of rotting. Well, I've got 8 rotten apples. And I'm going to stick it down in here. But I've got to secure it because this is really heavy and I don't want to break this pineapple plant at the base. So I'm going to find something where I can kind of support it upright like this. Then I'm going to take it in the barn and cover it with a plastic bag, and we'll wait for 7 days. Okay, if you can please ignore the nasty mess in my barn. This is pretty much what I use it for now, is just plant propagation and things like this. So I ended up not putting the 2-liter bottle down in the plant. Instead, I used one of these little plant stakes, and I put the bottle neck down in the hole there. And it's propped up pretty decent, because it's still going to get the gas. The idea here is to get ethylene gas from these rotting apples to fill up the bag that I'm going to place over it. And it really doesn't matter where you place it as long as gas can escape from the bottom of this 2-liter bottle, and of course can escape from the top of the 2-liter bottle and fill up the whole bag there with that ethylene gas. And then, after 7 days, I'll take it off. Now, one thing I want to be sure and do, and I've done, is I cut off these really sharp points on every one of these low leaves. Now, there's a few, like inside, that I left, but those should not puncture the bag. I don't want any of the gas escaping. I do have a grow light here that I probably will turn on. It doesn't produce hardly any heat, so I don't think it'll be any problem as far as getting too much heat inside this bag. And I did it last time and it worked really good. So just to make sure that there's plenty of photosynthesis. Now there is a window over here that light can get to, but I'll go ahead and probably put this grow light on just for kicks, I guess. I don't think it's really necessary. But now that I've got the stake holding my bottle and the apples are in place, it's ready for me to place the plastic bag over it. It's just a big, giant, clear, mega-sized trash bag. and then I'll probably twist it up and put it around the bottom of the base here to try to trap in all of the gas. Okay, so I managed to get this 55-gallon clear trash bag over it, and if you can see in there, the apples are in there, barely balanced, so I have to be very careful. And now I'm just going to scoop up the bottom, kind of twist it up and stick it in that pot, and probably weigh it down with something just to trap in all of the gases, ethylene gas. It's hopefully going to come for those rotten apples. I've got the bag on it. I've got the ends of the bag all drawn up. I twisted it up. I tucked it underneath all of the leaves, and I've stuck it down in there and pushed it up against the base of the pineapple, trying to prevent any leaks of any gases that hopefully are forming in there from those rotting apples. And I have turned on my grow light, so we are going to wait 7 days, and then we will come back, remove the plastic, put it in the greenhouse, fertilize it, water it in good, and just leave it alone and watch for a fruit to develop in a few months. Okay, I'm a couple of days late getting the pineapple uncovered. And there's a lot of humidity inside this bag. I don't know if you all can see the water drops, but I mean, it's literally pouring on the ground, so it wasn't hurting for moisture. So we'll get this bag off and take it back to the greenhouse. So today is April the 5th, 2025, and there's the pineapple. I've had it in the greenhouse all winter, and I trimmed all the points off of the leaves because they are razor sharp and they were extending way out. I couldn't even get to the pot to pick it up. They will literally stab you. I mean, look at this. And they're serrated, and they are where they're just needle sharp. But I wanted to show you, this is really the first time that I've noticed this plant. It is producing a bloom, but you can see how many months later it took. I don't know why that's not focusing. It's way down in there. And it will take several weeks before it will send up the stalk, and then that bloom will continue to get larger and larger and larger, and that actually turns into the pineapple plant. And it will form a little top notch, a little tuft of these little small green, well, just what you see when you buy a pineapple in the store. But you can see how long it took. Now, I don't know that those apples were necessary. I'm going to give it a little bit of fertilizer, probably give it some Espoma citrus tone, so it has plenty of nutrition to support the production of this fruit. I want it to be as big as it can get, considering it's actually in a container. This is what I'm going to use to fertilize it with. I don't know that it wants citrus food, but to me it makes more sense than anything else. It's the Espoma Organic Citrus Tone, and so I'm just going to use about, that's probably close to a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup, and sprinkle around the base of the plant. It's hard to reach it. These leaves take up a whole lot of room. Okay, so update. Today is June 10th, 2025. And so it's been a couple of months since we saw the bloom starting. And you can see that the bloom has turned into the fruit. And this fruit is about, at this stage, probably about 4.5 inches tall. And probably about 3.5 inches wide. But it will take quite some time for this to grow to complete size and then ripen. So I've already done this process once, and it took quite some time for that pineapple to turn yellow. And it will get larger than this. So I may just do a totally different video on the whole harvesting and eating it, because I guess I'm just a little impatient. This is a long process from start to finish. It does not really take that long to root them in water. That does not take very long at all. And it doesn't take it very long once you see the bloom, you know, to make this size fruit. Because once it sends up the bloom, it really starts developing. But it seems to take forever to get it to bloom, and it seems to take forever for the fruit to ripen. So you just have to be, patient and have them staggered. But truthfully, I don't think anything is more rewarding than to do things like this, where you start and you watch your food develop and then you harvest it. And I think it's a great thing for children to be a part of, so that they know where their food comes from. It doesn't come from McDonald's, and it doesn't come from Walmart grocery store. Some farmer somewhere raised your food. So anyway, sorry. I'll keep you updated. And when it's time to harvest, and then that way you'll kind of know from start to finish. And again, I have this growing in a pot. If this was growing in a really warmer zone, in a really warm climate, then it probably could be grown out in the earth, and the process may be a lot faster. But I am in southwestern Kentucky, zone 7A. We were zone 6 for years and years and years. We just got moved to zone 7. So I can't grow this outdoors. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know it was a long video, and it is a very long and process. Not so much that you have to do anything, but you just have to wait. And gardening does require patience, any form of gardening. So anyway, you guys have a blessed day. Thanks again for watching. Bye.